Oh, did you want one line?
No, I'm good.
My bad.
You don't need your pen?
Make sure my phone is
I have
turned
another one.
down.
Minute 30 seconds.
All
I
right,
hope her
cool.
card is in here.
Okay. We're live on the video cam.
So we can say this, right?
Yeah, we can say everything. That's the deal. We're gonna say everything.
I'm just making sure. So D won't be looking at me like
What
I'm
is that?
crazy.
I'm gonna be looking anyway because I have no clue about
We
what
can
we're looking at.
talk about anybody.
What is that? I don't have any.
Hiking information.
Oh,
One
okay.
of our view on a guy on Facebook said he wants to talk about hiking, so we're gonna weave it in to the show today.
Oh, I have nothing to talk about hiking.
Right, that's the right. What you would say that too.
Yeah,
You would say,
I'm getting educated today.
there you go. Because I don't either.
Man, I've never been hiking. I've been walking on the trail. I don't know if you call it hiking, but
We'll give us a. There we go.
I guess me scouting the deer would be hiking because I go through the woods, but I'm going to mountains.
Still got the bleed in from the other dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 minute.
All right.
Why y'all never tell me before I was like too close to the microphone?
We can't tell. I can't tell until
I went on the
get-
website and listened to me. I'm like, why am I so muffled?
After I
Sound
get
like-
home, I
clear.
hear everything,
Yeah.
but you don't hear
Sound
nothing
like
like
an
you
echo.
hear.
That's what it sounds like.
That's now, but I mean, all the previous episodes, I was too close to the mic because I got like a loud voice as it is. So I need my microphone away
Yeah.
as far as possible.
Yep.
Took me like, what, 5 shows to figure that out.
So you're hitting your intro.
Okay. Because I used to be this close.
It's off.
I know, but I used to be this close. I would lean in when I could stay back. Some sensitive mics. Some sensitive mics. You get everything.
All right. Welcome back to the 7th episode of Blanchard Outdoors. And I am your host, Ken Blanchard, joined by Vanessa Terry and Dee Brown. And this is what Blanchard Outdoors looks like. If you're on our BlanchardOutdoors.com/live page on the Google Hangout, hey, it's been good times. And in podcasting, they say that the 7th episode is where it makes or breaks it sometime. And see if we can pull my little volume up just a tad there. Today, I'm just gonna kick it. We're gonna kick it loose. There's some good stuff happening. I have been working like I was going to say person who built the pyramids. That'd have been a slam on somebody. So I just shut up right at the right time. I feel like you get punchy when you're real tired. You start acting silly, but that's what this show gonna be about. It's gonna be some silliness because I just can't stand it. I need to woosah. I got to just decompress a little bit. So if I get too silly, y'all just say, "Oh, just throw the microphone and walk out." He done lost his mind. It's all good.
Drop the mic.
I did at church one time when I was preaching, and all the young people went, "Ooh," and the old people went, "What is he doing?"
You actually dropped the mic with them?
I was on a roll. I was doing really good. I was preaching, and then I just went, walked away, and the young people went, "Yeah!" And the old people went,
Drops the mic.
"They don't get it." It's like, all right, wrong audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to know your audience. Our audience, we're talking about outdoors, fishing, hunting, and living your dreams. Now, how that all fits together is that there are some people in the world who don't think that Black people hunt. Black people don't fish. Black people don't own guns. I got a list here. Black people that don't do, what do they don't do? They don't bird hunt. They don't upland game hunt. They don't turkey hunt. Black people don't eat caviar. Black people don't drink champagne. Black people don't smoke cigars. Black people don't ride motorcycles. Black people don't hike. Black people don't camp. Black people don't ride ATVs. Black people, stop me if I'm wrong. Black people don't skeet shoot. Black people don't do trap shooting. Black people don't own guns. Black people don't shoot competitively. Black people don't shoot recreationally. Black people don't watch NASCAR.
Wrong.
All right.
I don't.
They don't own AR-15s. They don't own businesses. See?
Oh, absolutely wrong.
There's just so much stuff that we have put on ourselves.
Oh, we don't bird watch too. That's another one.
That's right. That's right.
But
So-
we do.
So
We don't ski.
But
right.
We do.
we don't do all that stuff is just so
We don't
wrong.
jump out of planes. We don't hang glide. We
Right,
don't do
right,
balloon
right.
rides.
And then what do we do with each other? We dog those who do. If it's not in your thing, we dog you. And it gets even worse is if somebody does something, they go, well, we don't do that. Well, we do.
Or why do you want to do that?
So you've
Or
had
where'd
that
that
before.
come from? Oh, I get that a lot.
So I touched a nerve, huh?
Yes.
I thought I was the only one. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that it's just wrong. I always say it, I try to say at the end of the show that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And why that's important is that outside of your gaming console, outside of your television screen, is the rest of the world that the Creator made. And it is beautiful. There's some great stuff out there. I mean, you can let me tell you a story about this bird. I'm sitting on my porch, right? And there's this praying mantis that comes out every year. So I call her Penelope. Penelope was out there and she was like trying to catch this moth. And I was just into it. I was like watching it. I got this whole series of stuff on my phone when I'm taking movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one day these little teeny birds popped up and they gang jumped her and beat her down. And she had to open her wings and try to look like she was big, but she lost. And I was like, wow, that's like the circle of life right on my porch. And I was sad, but it's like reality in a microcosm for everything else we do. That if you want to eat, somebody has to hunt, somebody has to harvest, somebody has to do that stuff. And poor little Penelope got beat up by the birds, but it's just a part of the living cycle. And we're talking about it here. And it's part of it that you can have fun with it. And it's all God's stuff. Why are you going to limit yourself and be stuck in the house and breathe some air?
Get off the couch.
Get off the couch. Yes, indeed.
Do something different that people don't ordinarily do, so you have something to say at the dinner table when you go to your corporate meeting, and you might not be able to identify with some of the folks, you know, typically, but hey, I do this and I do that, and wow, and I can, talk about it.
You smell what I stepped in. You know what I'm talking about. Roll with it. D, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm just listening here. That's all. I mean, what comes to mind to me, I'm a big sportsaholic guy. It used to be the whole myth we didn't play golf. But then when we got involved in it, we went to the top. Just like we used to play tennis.
Mm-hmm.
We got two of the top females.
Oops.
Once we get in it, we go to the top. We don't play hockey. Why? Black people don't like cold. I like the cold. I'm out hunting it all the time. But yet I just saw a brother out in Canada just signed about a 7-year, $90 million deal. He's one of the top defensemen in hockey. So, I keep up with all sports. So the key thing about it is when you find something you really enjoy, be the best at it. And I think the key thing about it is in life, people resist to change. Anytime it's something they're not accustomed to doing or something the norm doesn't do, then, you're called weird or, why do you want to do that? But I mean, change is what has evolutionized this world. Somebody always saw something they felt they can make better, or somebody said, hey, wouldn't it be a better way to do this? Or wouldn't it be something else? So I embrace change, and I'm always looking to be educated and learn something new. I mean, just like, when I went hunting, 2 weeks ago, or actually last week, turkey hunting, I learned something new every time I go out. Like I said, that was the first time I was able to ever stalk up on 2 turkeys within 30 yards. And I didn't think I would, but I took my time. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean, like I said, and now you guys talk about all these things, hey, these myths about what black people don't do, what minorities don't do. No, there's people that do a lot. I mean, just like I've got educated in our first shows. I didn't think there was a black female pro angler. I found out there was. I didn't say we didn't do it. I just didn't know about it. Just like I didn't know about the 2 gentlemen we found, one Bubba and the other gentleman in Louisiana. Wasn't aware of them. And now that I've been aware of them, I try to spread it and let people know and watch them and follow them and educate, and learn different things. So.
And I wanted to make a point, I'll go back. Actually, I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Brent. Brent actually reached out to Ken, emailed him to let him know that my concern regarding sitting on the ground in the woods and the bugs in my legs can be resolved, not by, putting tape around my pants because I don't have drawstring, but actually I can purchase some clips that cyclists use to keep their pant legs out of their pedals.
Chain and stuff.
So he said, tell Vanessa that she can do that. So I was surprised that somebody reached out to give us feedback. So I'm glad folks are listening. Thank you so much, Brent, for giving me that tip, and I will use it.
And absolutely. I mean, don't just send emails. You can call us here at the number
301-429-8255. 9247.
You took my job, Ken. I did that last week.
You did good too. You did
Yeah, you
good
did.
too.
You did it real well.
Yep. I was jamming. I was sitting in my little booth. Yeah, I got over myself, and I was like, they doing it.
Yeah. So speaking of the outdoors and what we may or may not do, there is this woman who I admire that's big in the outdoor industry, who's promoting helping African Americans get outdoors. And she was actually here in town this weekend, and I was so excited I got to meet her this morning at one of the outdoor stores, REI, in our area. And her name is Rue Mapp, and she grew up in California on a ranch, which was very rare. She had a huge family, and she talked about her backstory and why she does what she does, but her whole goal is to get African Americans out. And she started an organization called Outdoor Afro on Meetup, the same place where I have my fishing club. There's tons, hundreds and thousands of other organizations just to, get outdoors and do something you want to do. Maybe not even outdoors, but meetup.com is the place to be if you want to do something different. So I found her group there about a year ago, and I signed up to keep track of all of their events. And this was the first event I actually attended, and it was to actually meet her. And I had done some research and found her before, and she, I knew she was the founder of the group, but she does so much more, getting outdoorsmen, naturalists, environmentalists together to support one another, making connections that last in order to help get African Americans outdoors. Women, children, men, everybody. And they hike. They go on explorations, they do bird watching, camping, all sorts of stuff. So I thought that was so interesting, and I wanted to share it today, given the fact that this was our topic. Very appropriate.
Hiking is, I thought hiking was just walking out in the woods, but it's a whole craft to the thing, especially if you are a former Army person. You guys took it to another level. You got like Pathfinder stuff and trailblazing and what's the word? You're doing land navigation. We got it in the Marine Corps too, but it's more like go over there, come back,
and get there the best way you can.
Yeah.
Without a guide.
Yes, so it's kind of like a little less than, but it's a whole business. REI is like doing it, and there's like walking sticks and boots, and there's a whole the way you pack and the way you travel. All that stuff matters. What did you pick up from Miss Mapp today?
Well, I picked up that it's all about making connections. Her talk was about making connections. She kind of recapped it, discussing relevance, making partnerships, and the long view, where we want to go from here. And the long view, I think we started our first show talking about anomalies and how, people don't necessarily, African Americans in particular, don't get out into the outdoors, but this is what we do, and this is the show is all about. Well, why do we have to talk about that? Why is that an issue? So her long view is that we don't have to talk about that as an issue anymore. That it's just natural that we get out there, we make those connections, and we do it, and we expose it to others. And I think the challenge, not that she gave us one, but the challenge for me as a single mom is to make sure that I pass that down to my son. Look at what your mom is doing. Look at what you can do. You might not be interested in it now. Maybe you'll take your children and your grandchildren out. But we have to actually pass the legacy on. But if we don't get the kids outdoors and we don't get our friends outdoors and tell them to take their kids, the issue will continue. And today it was interesting. I told you I met her, but we made a long-lasting connection because I said, "Are you on Facebook?" So once you connect to somebody on Facebook, you're connected forever unless they just delete their account. But we made that connection. I posted some pictures I took on her page. She introduced me to another group on Facebook that I wasn't in. I think you were in it, Ken, already. It was Black people who fish and hunt. So there's another group. So now that's another connection. So I logged on to that group when I got home, and I saw a post from a guy asking, what is the purpose of this page? Why do we, it doesn't make sense to have this page. Why do African Americans need their own page for fishing and hunting? So of course, I made a comment basically stating that if there wasn't an issue, the page wouldn't exist, and it exists because we want to connect like-minded individuals who are culturally, similar. We have similar views, and we need to be able to find out about this information. The only way to do that is to network via social media. So, bottom line is, if it wasn't an issue, we wouldn't have this show to talk about it. We wouldn't have social media to try to connect. But, hopefully down the line, it won't still be an issue if we can get out there.
That's been the whole thing. When I started Black Man with a Gun back in 2000, my long view was that eventually nobody would even care what color you were if you had a firearm. It would be safe practices. It would be doing what you're supposed to do. Because I wanted to take it back to my grandmother who had a loaded shotgun in the kitchen and nobody messed with it. I wanted to have it so that it went back to kind of like the old school where we cared about our parents and what our fathers did and mothers did more than legislators and lawyers and all the stuff that's on television. I wanted to kind of put it back in the hands of the family. And one of the things that you guys do all the time is bring up family, because you got it from family. And you're starting it from where you are to the next level. And that's like too cool. And because you're a social media diva, Power Circle, Fishing Team, Bubba and all that crew, Bubba's been expanding his circle and sending me his friends. So I want to give a quick shout out to James Brown, Ricky, Jeff, Wayman, D. Ross, Brian, and there's some more that are on the list that kind of expanded. And they're all either professional anglers, boat captains, and it seems like they're all in the whole Gulf Coast area, Florida, which while I was sitting on post, watching my brain shrink from the lack of use, I had a chance to fantasize. And Dee said, we got to travel. We got to go by car, by truck. We got to go physically go to some places. And I thought, then I want a mobile home. Mm-hmm. I want a mobile home with our logo and stuff on it.
I
want us to travel. I want us to travel and take all our gear with us. And I saw the whole thing in my head until I went to the website where the mobile homes price was.
I wouldn't even call them mobile homes anymore. Now they're more like RVs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I priced some of them too. I mean, if you look at the huge ones like the NASCAR drivers have them. If you look at myself again, I'm a big outdoor person, so I look at the TV channels where the hunters are. They got big, they're all sponsored. They get sponsors for those, and hopefully we can work our way towards that. Absolutely.
We can get that.
But I mean, but we can start out in the van you got outside first. We can start in that and get where we need to get to. Just to go back to what Vanessa said, I mean, it amazes me that a gentleman would even question, why do we need a page for Blacks, African men? It's just like, why do we need this show? And it's just like, why do we need to fulfill our dream that you and I talked about? Well, one of the things is I don't see people who look like me on any of the hunting channels. And I know we as a minority Black, I know there's people that hunt because I see them every year. But yeah, there's no shows to represent us, show what we're doing. So why is that important?
And if they do exist, they're not on a major
they're not
network.
They're not on a major network. They're not on anything. Again, I haven't seen any that's on any type of TV show. Now, there used to be one on there, and it's not there anymore, but I feel we can have that representation. We should have that representation and just give it a different perspective, different outlook of the hunting that takes place. And again, I'm open to different things. Like you guys are talking about hiking right now. Hey, I'm being educated. I'm not familiar with it. Now, one of the things is I'm familiar with REI, and I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but what does the REI stand for?
It's just a store. It's a chain.
Okay.
It's recreational equipment. I can Google it right here. But
I'm sorry. D just asked the Daily Double on Jeopardy question. I've heard of it, but I didn't know, did it stand for something or anything like that? That's all. Okay.
I believe it does, like recreational equipment something.
Okay.
But they have 7 locations here, and they're opening up an 8th one in DC.
Okay.
Believe it or not, very soon.
So it's all about outdoor activities, or just specific to hiking, or things
it's cycling, so bike riding, hiking, camping. They do have fishing equipment, I believe, in the Annapolis location, but not all.
It's usually the fly stuff.
Fly fishing, okay.
Yeah, and just outdoorsy, gear.
Okay.
But no hunting. I did ask if they had hunting camo or anything today, and they did not.
Yeah, probably not in this
market. You can't shop there. Not right now.
Not for D yet.
But they also, in addition to having Ruth there, actually this was a wild wilderness women's speaker series. So there's actually 3 women over a 3-month period. I missed the first session. And the next session is an African-American female who created a company called Girl Trek. So I believe that's hiking. I don't have a lot of experience. I've hiked before, but not a lot of experience with real major hiking. But she created a company called Girl Trek. And she's going to speak next month. So in addition to Rue being there, they also had the American Hiking Society. So I met the president of the Hiking Society, and he told me about some upcoming events around hiking. And we did have a listener who wanted to talk about that today. So just to give you guys some information, National Trails Day is on June 6th. of this year. And what they do on National Trails Day is it's all about conservation. They also walk the trails, and they want you to bring your family out and just to help out, because it's important to conserve where you play and not necessarily just go out one day and help volunteer for a cleanup. I mean, that's great, but why not volunteer and clean up where you play? That's one of the things that we talked about today as well. So on National Trails Day, you can bike the trail, you can actually canoe the trail. So if you're actually, if there's a trail and there's a lake next to it, you can actually canoe. You don't have to just walk the trail. So just to let everybody know, if wherever you are, you can actually go to the website, AmericanHiking.org, and there's information about National Trails Day in your state. So I thought it was interesting.
Why women need their own event?
Why do they need that? Well, actually, that event is not just. Oh, you mean the speaker series?
Yeah. Why do they need their own thing?
Just like about African Americans, women want to be able to bond and talk about. Oh, a question came up from the audience. One of the women asked the question, "How do I get my team in the outdoors?" And I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm having that challenge too, to a degree. My son loves to fish with me, but if it's not bottom fishing, where we're going to drop a line and he gets something quick, he's not interested in rock fishing. He went a couple of times. He doesn't like to wait for a bite. So he'll do that all day long. He'll bottom fish. But when you talk about hiking, I'm going to NASCAR, in May. He doesn't want to do that. He said 200 laps. Oh, no, I'm not going to sit there and watch a car go around 200 times. So it's all about patience. So what one of the guys said, he was an environmentalist that was there. He had a table as well. He said, have the child, whether male or female, think of it as leadership. Like, let them lead, let them make some decisions about what their day is going to be like, have them invite some friends, and that would get them interested in it. So have them, feel like it's actually their idea. You know how when you're married, sometimes your wife does that to you. They make it seem like it's your idea.
Yep.
That's what my mom said,
Leading from the second.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Leading from the second position.
Yeah, I definitely know.
Right.
My mother's done that numerous times. My father, so absolutely.
But basically, using that method will help get your children outdoors. So again, that was a thing that came up. It may not have come up if it was just all guys. But being women, we have our certain issues. Some women are afraid of bugs outdoors. Some women are afraid that they don't have the physical fitness to be able to do certain things like to climb a hill. But getting out there together, maybe you need another woman to hold your hand.
Gotcha.
Is something great, and you want to share those experiences.
After we take a quick reflection on who's sponsoring this show and keeping us on the table, we'll be right back.
I was gonna ask.
You enjoying the show?
I was gonna ask, could only women attend that? I was gonna ask, could only women attend that? Like, guys can attend that meeting today or whatever?
Oh yeah, they could.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get some video equipment, man. See, because that'd have been something we should have been at. She could have interviewed somebody.
Right, and I thought the same thing.
We need camera. We're already talking about that. We need that, because I would have went with you.
Just one commercial.
Yeah. So. Thank you.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Blanchard Outdoors, and we're on WBGR here in Atlanta, Maryland, but we're broadcasting actually around the world. I want to go a quick shout out to Frank out in Washington State. Frank's holding it down on our, what do you call that thing? It's the SMS, the tax. If you go to Blanchard Outdoors /live, there is a chat there. Frank's in the chat. And if you go to the chat room, you'll see Frank there. Frank's usually all by himself. So if you're watching the show, if you're listening live, go to BlanchardOutdoors.com /live and join Frank in the chat. And tell Frank I said hello. Frank actually is, I can't say one of my, he's a good friend of mine. And Frank has I'm losing over for words. Frank's trying to raise money right now to get a service dog. That's the deal. It's called, where's my notes? It says FrankServiceDogFund.com. It's that easy. But again, when you're a little tired, you forget stuff. FrankServiceDogFund.com. I'm trying to raise money to get Frank a service dog. Frank is an exceptional individual, So if you have a few centavos, a few pennies, help them out. It's all tax deductible under Blanchard Chapel and Outreach Center, Inc., which is a 501c3. Just so you know.
And to go back to what we were talking about before, like I said, the maintenance, the amazing internet and how we can find out things. We found out that REI stands for Recreational Equipment, Inc.
Which
Thank you
REI
so
is
much,
better.
D.
So,
REI is way better. If you can get a URL that's like short, you're in like Flint, because it's hard. Everybody is taking all the short ones, but so that means they've been around a while or they got big pockets.
and to go back to what Lanessa was saying about, how the women talk about how to get their teens or kids involved in the outdoors. Yeah, this generation is a happening now generation.
Yeah.
I think they always have
That's
been,
where you
though.
have the Instagram and the Twitter, because you can find out things instantly. Where a lot of things in the outdoors and fishing and hunting, you have to have some patience. It's not going to be every time you go out you're able to shoot something. It's not every time you're going to be out and you're going to catch something. But for me, it's just the enjoyment of being out there and that anticipation of what could occur or what can occur, and then just enjoying nature. And again, me learning, because I go out, like I said, I try to learn something new about whether I see a different type of a smell, a sound, or look, or something an animal has made, or things of that nature. So yeah, this generation definitely is a happening now generation. So like you said, letting them lead and letting them decide definitely can be a big thing. Because I know one thing I want to go do, and I've been saying it for a while, but I want to go to like one of the major Triple Crown races of horse racing. Next Saturday is the Kentucky Derby. Yet we have
In Kentucky.
Yeah, in Kentucky. Yet we have the Preakness, which is right here in Baltimore, Maryland, where I live. Never been to it.
Also, blacks don't go to the Kentucky Derby.
No, they
I'm
don't.
just kidding.
Unless you're a celebrity.
That's on the
Unless you're a celebrity, because I've seen them interview a few of the football players, and some of them might own some horses and have stakes in them.
It's just another myth.
But just
average, like to go do that stuff.
But I guess we don't horseback ride either.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
As well. But I keep saying that's one of those things. It's kind of my bucket list, and I live in Baltimore, and I guess it's been a thing where I hadn't want to go by myself, but if I need to plan, I'm going to actually do it because I want to go just to experience it. And you're talking about, that's the major race of the day, but they have 12, 13 races going on, just the festivities that's going on and around. Like
that's what I would go for.
And actually, because I think, it's one charge and you can be on the infield.
Okay.
And it's almost like, a thing, it's almost like the gold rush, because it's a squat and sit. It's first come, first serve. So wherever you go, you put your cooler, you put your tent up. I heard all kinds of activities is going on, playing horseshoes, throwing frisbees. They're offering women some chains. It kind of be like the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. You might see something. So it's all kinds.
Wine tasting,
all kinds of things that's going on. So and I know, like, if you get
a lot of people don't go to that.
But so it's something I said I want to plan. I really look to attend. So when she brought it up, and you be talking about the myths and things we don't do, that's something I've been saying for a while. I want to go. I hadn't want to go by myself, but if I need to go by myself, I am, because I really want to experience that. And that's something I want to do. And at one point I wanted to be a jockey, and I kind of
You're tall.
Yeah, got too tall, got too big, couldn't do it. But I always loved horses, always loved being outdoors. So definitely said I want to go to one of those major Triple Crown races.
Speaking about kids, I was talking to your mom, and she was saying that when you was at the farm, you were just like driving all the animals crazy and stuff, and you was a rough little kid. So how did you handle that patience piece that you got now? But
well, I always loved the outdoors, and one of the things was my mom used to send me down, for the summertime to stay with my grandmother, and bless her heart, may she rest in peace. My grandmother kind of wanted me to stay in the house.
Just sit there.
Do chores and do stuff. And I'm a grown boy, and I like the outdoors. I got cows, pigs, horses, squirrels, rabbits, and you want me to sit in the house? No, I need to be outside.
Okay, cool.
So, and there, we had, our family owned so much land, it's like I could run all over the place. Yeah, I wanted to see how fast can a cow run if I chase one, and I also found out how fast I can run when a bull pig chased me. So, those type of things, and I got all kinds of crazy stories with my cousins and families. Oh my God, about the time we tried to give a bull some pills, and I got some stories. I'll save for another show, but I have all kinds. But those activities and memories and experiences help to shape the individual that I am now. And I guess the key thing about it is I always wanted to be like my father. Like when my father would leave and go hunting, I always would ask, when can I go? When can I go?
What did he say? I'm curious.
He just said, your time is coming. It's like, you can't go now. You know, most of the time he wouldn't tell me. My mother would be like, well, you just can't go. You're not old enough. So then I was like, well, when is it old enough?
Right.
You know, and finally, then it got to the point I was always like, well, you can't go until you get your hunter safety. And then my father was a hunting safety instructor. Good, I'm going to the next class. And then finally it went. And like I said, my patience and how I like it, the first couple of times I went, I was so cold, I had to go back to the car. And probably the average kid would be like, I'm not doing something, which my brother did. He went out, got cold, said, I'm not doing this. But for me, it was just, I wanted to be out there with my father. Like I wanted to do activities with him. Same thing with fishing. My father went, I wanted to be right. Like, you know, they say everybody's, you know, mama's boy, I'm a daddy's boy wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
any kind of outdoor activities that my father did, I wanted to be a part of. You know, when he went, he played softball. I didn't like that, but I played baseball. You know, but when it came to hunting, you know, I went and did all these things. And that's, you know, one of the things why I never really gotten into bow hunting, but I am now because my father never did. He did all the gun stuff, so I do all the gun stuff. Because basically I was emulating my father. And then all my uncles that went, they all did gun hunting. So it was kind of a family thing. I emulated that. I had my father got more on a boat, I would have been doing a boat. But I really just wanted to follow my father's footsteps, who I feel is a great man. You know, again, he's up there in age now and has some health issues. He's not able to go and do things. So I let him live all the hunts I have. Like he's the first person I want to call if I kill a deer, miss a deer, see something, whatever. You know, like I said, he has one of the bragging rights on me now. I've never killed a turkey. My father's killed numerous turkeys. So when I came back and told him, yeah, Pops, I was able to sneak up on 2, got within 30 yards. Do you know what he said? Did you get one?
Right.
You know, because he still holds it. But still, me being able to share those experiences with him, I look forward to that.
I love his dad, too. His dad's my buddy.
And the key thing to that is that his dad was there. What about all the youth whose fathers aren't there and they don't have that exposure and that experience because there's no one there to emulate? I mean, the fact that you looked up to him and he was able to expose you to those things is awesome.
Yeah, he's still around.
Think about society now. I'm just thinking about, in the past.
Oh, absolutely.
But think about society today.
I had to jump a couple generations. Like I had to find my aunt's boyfriend, who's now husband.
Okay.
And his name was Cooper. Last name was Cooper. Everybody called him Cooper. Uncle Cooper was 6'5", longshoreman, rough guy, former Marine, didn't talk a whole lot. And I didn't know how much of him that I got because when he was around, he was so dominating. His voice was so booming. We go on fishing. Oh man, can I just hang out with this dude? I mean, it was like the maleness was just like there. So I would like save up for the summertime. Like, I can't wait to go with Uncle Cooper. I don't care where he go. We just ride around this pickup truck. I'm in the big boy truck now, so we're going fishing. Sometimes not your birth father. Guys will find that one, whether it be a gang member, whatever. You gotta make sure it's the right one.
Right.
Correct.
To find that guy that they're gonna follow and imprint, and you'll get it later.
Yeah, they want to emulate, they want to follow, they look up to, they want to be like it. And like Ken said, hopefully it's in the right direction and things. It's the same way you're talking about with your women's meeting and group today, where you talk about, you don't feel you're strong enough that you can climb a hill a lot of times, but you can have another person that see that help with that experience, or someone to show you. A lot of times is what it takes. And I know most of the people that I've seen that got into hunting, it was a family member, a father, or somebody that got them into doing it. And then I know some young ladies that hunt now, and pretty much it was their husbands or boyfriends or somebody. It wasn't something that, they decided on their own. It was someone they had an interest in, said, hey, I want to be, and it all comes to, I want to just be out there with you. I want to share this with you.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I didn't have that experience.
I'm not saying you.
You made up for it, though.
Yeah, you made up for it. Right. I'm not saying you, but I mean,
just saying,
some things.
I wish that happened to me. It would have been nice to have that
absolutely.
Person that I said, oh, I want to, be out there with them hunting. I think that's a great experience. I
mean, well, you're a different breed all of me. You like to hunt, you like to fish, which most don't do. You smoke cigars, like that type of thing. I mean, again, you're a different type of woman. So most women aren't into all that stuff or do those things. But I mean,
I call it frontier. You'd have made it. When stuff would have went bad back in the West, you'd have still been around. A lot of people, they don't perish.
That's what I was thinking.
She's still here.
Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So actually, speaking of fishing and the ladies and the women's groups, one of my Hot Rods club members was actually there. She came in and she said, oh my goodness, you're here. And we both thought about putting it on our site as a meetup, but we try to keep all of our activities to fishing, but we need to just expand a little bit more. We're going camping in June, and it'd be nice to see what other people are interested in. So it was nice actually seeing her there. And also speaking of the club, I wanted to give someone a shout out, Juden Poor. on Facebook actually has become one of our sponsors, our first time sponsor for the hot rods. Mobilebait.com has become a sponsor. So
Cool.
Thank you so much, Jude. And he's also been shouting out Blanchard Outdoors on several groups on Facebook. So we may get some additional new listeners in as a result.
This is something that's new for me. When the internet first started, I wasn't aware that you can just network with anybody ad nauseum. I mean, and nobody takes away from you. There's an old phrase that says, lighting a candle doesn't take anything away from that other candle. That's how the internet is. We can shout out REI, we can shout out Beretta and Browning High Power and a whole bunch of companies, and it's on them to reciprocate.
Right.
Because see, if we, and I just learned this recently, if you say, well, I'm gonna just give a quick blessing to this whole group right here, and that group doesn't do it back, the world will see it and shut them down. You don't have to do anything. They'll say, well, this person's been nice to you, why aren't you doing it? And you'll get bigger stuff happening from the outside. So throw stuff at will. I mean, just go for it. And because everybody is connected to something, I'm kind of learning this networking thing. The web. Remember, it's a web. So there's like lines going everywhere. And there might be a person who's the head of marketing, and that marketing person says, oh no, we don't have enough money for that. But there's a person who's probably junior to that one who's waiting, that you shouted out, they liked you, they might talk to you, might get some free stuff from the second person because the old guy is not cool. So it's like that. But you gotta be ready for all of that, and just throw stuff out. The folks, AB Arms, Crossbreed Holsters, Legal Defense Fund, great people. There are even more to come, I'm sure, because they understand the power of what we're doing. It has nothing to do with color. Not really. It's about people. And we're trying to get the people who feel like they're something special that they can't shout out. And you're talking about sharing the glory. Sometimes people in our own circle don't want to shout out, which is really a sad thing. See my sad face? This stuff just, you get where you're at and you forget that you can't stay there by yourself. You're gonna have to expand. So it's okay if you talk about hot rods. I didn't know about the hot rods till I met you. And then I know there's like 100 guys trying to join your group now, because that's just how it is. And even though you said this is women's shooting, fishing thing, guys, everybody wants to do stuff that works. So that's how come we have such success right now with Blanchard Outdoors. The show is brand new. I mean, we're only 30 days old, maybe. March 8th was our first show. We're doing every Sunday night, 7 o'clock. And we're learning our dynamic. We're learning about the internet. The web thing was just a bonus. I mean, I just threw that up there. I've had the fits with Google Hangouts my whole life. I think I was online before Google, maybe. I'm a Googleizer now, though. As soon as something pops up, you want to Google it. And Google has this thing where it allows you to video it. And it's practice for me because I've been terrified of the video, because you got so many working parts to it. But someday we'll have a person or persons who are videotaping us, and we'll be in a different studio, and we'll be live on location. Folks will be following you, and I can see it. It's so close now. It's a nice vision too. I mean, just makes me weak. It's just nice. It's just nice. We're gonna take a break, and if you want to call 301
and get Ken's issue.
429-9247 is our number. We'll take that live call, and when we get back.
Two commercials.
Thank you for looking that up for us. Oh, you didn't see what she showed it, flashed it up? Oh, okay.
I did.
Yeah, I was like, well, let me say it at least.
You're right, you delivered it.
Since I was the one that asked about it. So.
My sister was calling me. That's what was vibrating, and she sent me a text saying, "Sorry," like she forgets that I'm on the show.
Oh, it's no problem. We just like everybody looking around like, oh, whose phone is that? Because I know I turned mine off, and I'm looking at she grabbing hers and grabbing mine. He looking at his like, oh, it's your big phone on the desk making that noise. Like.
One of the hot rods that sent me a message saying she was listening, and then she said, "Where is it?" Because I guess she was talking about
the live
Google
thing.
Hangouts, but she was like, "Where is it?" So you might have to tell people how to find it.
Okay. Blanchard
People are
Outdoors.
just catching on to Google Hangouts.
I know, it's new.
So I just told her BlanchardOutdoors.com. BlanchardOutdoors.com, and then you
Google
look for it on
Hangouts.
that
You can
page.
go to the website, Blanchard Outdoors, and see the live button and press that. All right, if you are looking desperately for that Google Hangout to see us live, just go to BlanchardOutdoors.com. And at the top of the bar, you'll see the thing that says live. That page has it all right there. BlanchardOutdoors.com/live. Try my best to make this thing easy. But it's hard only because it's new. And believe me, 5 years now, we're going to be laughing about this. When you look like, oh man, he barely got that thing going. And we've had times when the cameras fell off, and the thing didn't work. This is like our 7th episode, and we got a story almost every time the video thing plays. But it's working right now. Inshallah, as they say overseas, and God willing, and the creek don't rise. Everything is good.
Absolutely. Just like I said, our first episode, we're going to make some mistakes along the way. We're going to learn from them. We're going to move forward. So, again, I want to send a special shout out to our sponsors for giving us this opportunity. Because without them, this wouldn't be possible. And like I said, there's still a dream that we're able to live and move forward with. So, and hey, anybody else that want to come on and be a sponsor, we're welcome to it. We're not asking for a lot, just an opportunity to kind of share this dream together and then move forward so we can make it bigger and better and do some other things as well.
And also sign up for our mailing list.
Yep.
We have a space on the website where you can actually go and enter your information so you can keep in touch with us. Send us your questions, feedback, any good news to share, any events that you're aware of that we can broadcast on air. That would be very helpful. So reach out to us.
That's a big thing too. I'm trying to, for all the guys who already have their businesses, you've already gone to the limit. I mean, you're probably put yourself on Facebook, you got your website, you found out how much work that is. You're trying to write stuff to keep your blog fresh so Google can find you. I mean, it's like you're trying to keep your business going, and you got people that you gotta manage, and your marketing and your branding sometimes falls down. Well, because I've messed up in so many things, I understand how branding works, how marketing works. So if you want to check out some programs that I have in place that can help you with your message, check out BlanchardMediaGroup.com. It's a small business that I'm starting, which markets specifically to you, because I understand your issues. I know it's tough. You can't fish and blog at the same time. I tried, but your stuff will get wet and the salt water will kill your electronics. You do not want to do that. Let somebody else do it. I'm sitting here. I love my laptop. I'll take my laptop everywhere. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" "I'm working, baby. I'm working. I'm doing this thing." I will write forever. So if I can help you in your business, that's what this is going to do. And especially on Blanchard Outdoors, if you are a sponsor of this show, you're going to be on here a lot. So you're going to get like great publicity, great PR. People get a chance to you don't have to do all the work yourself anymore. So if you are in the outdoor business, if you have the same market we do, people who love the outdoors, who are in the fishing and the hunting, that was a long commercial. But I'm just letting you know, it's the real deal. We are here for real. We're here for you. And even if you got like real fancy stickers and stuff.
Or buttons.
It's good. White House tour. What are you doing at the White House?
Oh, want to talk about the tour? So I went to a party.
Great transition.
On Friday.
Real subtle. Bam!
Exactly.
What? My Lord.
But I'm always ready. So I went to a party Friday evening, and one of my girlfriends was there who has great connections. And I didn't know she had connections in the White House, but she offered me 2 tickets to the garden tour at the White House 2015. And when she said, would I like to go? I said, absolutely. Just like when you asked me to be on the show, I said, sign me up, absolutely, no question. So I went to the tour, actually by myself. I met my girlfriend there, but I went by myself because it was a last minute thing. And I could not find anyone to go, believe it or not. Nice. Everyone I reached out to that I thought of quickly either was already doing something, was not interested, or just didn't have time to get themselves together.
A lot of people don't go to the White House.
When did this take place?
This was yesterday.
Yeah, I believe I didn't get a call.
There's no black people at the White House.
And I wasn't doing anything yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to put you on blast. I wasn't doing anything, and I didn't get a call.
Actually,
so I guess I'm not one of them people she thought about. Okay.
Actually, got blasted on Facebook, too, because I posted the tickets and said, on my way into the gate by myself, meeting my girlfriend, I had an extra ticket, nobody wanted to go. And they said, oh, really? Rub it in our face now that you didn't ask all these people that have responded to this post. So
too funny.
My story is that I actually got a chance to tour the grounds. I've never been invited to the White House. I never got a chance to go to the Easter egg roll or take my son when he was younger. So I was just ecstatic. My mother would have been the first person to be invited had she been in town, because my mother actually gardens. She grows her own garden out back. She's one of my influences in the outdoors. She has beautiful trees. She has a cherry blossom in her backyard. It looks like the Caribbean. I mean, she grows everything.
All right.
So she would have been my first choice had she been in town. And I asked my sister to go. She's like, oh, no, not really. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? You're not interested in going to the White House grounds? And she's probably going to kill me when she hears me talking about her. But it was just amazing. And actually, when I got down there, I learned that they had stacks and stacks of entry tickets free. So if you were a tourist walking around down there and you just happened to walk up and see the lines, you could have gotten a ticket to go in for a timed entry slot. So 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I think 4 o'clock was the last slot. But everybody just, and I had a ticket where you could go anytime. So everybody just lined up and we walked in, and I had my camera with me and I took some gorgeous pictures. I knew I was going to take pictures. I love photography, just a little small hobby of mine. And we had a fabulous time. She had an extra ticket too. So we had 2 extra tickets. Actually, when I got down there, I learned that she had a ticket too. And we went in, and guess what? Maybe about 5 African Americans there enjoying the view.
What is the garden tour?
The garden tour happens every year. The First Lady actually opens up the grounds and shares her garden. They share the beehive tree that they have. They share, you just basically take a walking tour, and you can take pictures of the grounds and the flowers, you know, the tulips, the fountain.
Oh, okay.
Very picturesque. You see the fountain with a backdrop of, you know, the monument. I mean, just amazing, just really nice. And they had the White House band was playing. They had a 3-piece band. They had a guy on a saxophone, someone on drums, and someone on keyboard. And I did miss, they had a chorus out there too, but I missed it. So, you know, they just take people through around the grounds in different time slots, and it was great. So it was just, you know, on a whim I was able to go, and I was very humbled by the experience and grateful that she thought of me.
Hopefully you guys went, not to cut you off, Kim, before it started raining.
We did.
I know yesterday afternoon, evening was
Yeah, it actually
rain.
Yeah, it ended around 5 o'clock.
Okay, so
Like
you must have ended right before it started raining.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it was really
good,
a great
good.
experience. And of course, I put all the pictures on Facebook. And
Okay, go look for that.
yeah.
I went down to North Carolina to a place of my birth yesterday for my aunt's 70th birthday. It was like a family reunion. All the cousins that were little when I was a kid, we all came together and marveled at our age, and showed our kids and our grandkids, and I was like, wow, you're an old dude now. And we took this big family picture, and it was hilarious. And I was so hyped because, again, I hadn't seen people in 20 years. And you kind of get a strength from family that you don't know you have. So my sister said, look at you, you're like on crack. Because I was like, I know, it's like love. And they actually gave me a microphone for a hot second. So I was just going back. I was like telling people stuff about, this is when we fell in the swamp, and this is right here. And they couldn't hear half of it because I was like, I was just fired up. I was just so happy. Little hearts was coming out of me and stuff. I was like all happy and stuff. It was like kind of cool. Until I got home in the rain, and it was raining like I don't know what.
And cold.
All the way home in the traffic, and it just killed the whole joy thing. I was trying to stay happy, but it was dark and it was rainy, and my wipers wouldn't work. It's like film. I thought I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, so the rain and temperature dropped significantly.
Yeah.
So
how about that spring? It's coming back.
Yeah, the weather we're getting here now, man, summer, it's almost around me like going, getting ready for hunting season. I'm like, we're going to go into the 1st of May, and I'm like, we got temperatures in the upper 30s. I'm like, wow, this weather has just been.
What's the next season for you guys?
Well,
still turkey, right?
Or yeah, no? still turkey. Yeah, turkey runs until like the middle or late of May. For the mid-Atlantic region. It's ironic because I just got off the phone today. Well, not just got off, but talked to my uncle, who's actually my uncle, to make sure I get ready. Yeah, he's 86. Who still hunts, still fishes.
Awesome.
Didn't know I went turkey hunting 2 weeks ago because I had called him up, but I didn't leave him a message. And he was like, I didn't get that message from me. I said, I apologize. Like, I didn't leave you a message. I called him a couple of times. So come to find out, he thought he had informed me of these 85 acres that he has in Virginia, that he has access to hunt and fish. I said, no, you never told me
It's
about
Old County
it.
somewhere.
Oh.
So he wants to go turkey hunt, but he doesn't want to go by himself. I said, Uncle, if you had told me about it, absolutely I would have came down it. So now I got to give him my schedule because, of course, he's free to go whenever he wants. So hopefully I'm going to get a chance to go turkey hunting with him. And then there's a pond that's on there as well that they have these huge bass on. He's been out there. He's had 10 or 12 pound test line, hooked the bass, broke the line every time. I'm like, oh, absolutely. I want to go fishing in that pond. I have to have some huge bass. And then I told him also, I said, I think I'll have some huge bucks. You know, I'll bring it all back to hunting. I was like, you got to get muzzleloading. You know, we got to do some muzzleloading hunting together. So we had about a 40. I meant to talk to him for about 10 minutes. We had about a 45-minute conversation all about this property, about turkey. And of course, he asked me, did I get one? And he didn't realize all the animals I've harvested that I've never killed a turkey. Cool. So we're talking about that too. Oh, no, I understand we have a caller online.
We got a caller.
Caller, welcome to Blanchard Outdoors. You're online. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Loud
we
clear,
can.
dude.
Sorry, I'm on a cell phone and I know they don't work well.
This one's working real good, dude.
I can barely hear you guys, but I'm gonna do my best. So this is Ryan Avey. I'm in the Pink Fishing Boat Truck.
Hey, Ryan, how are you? Thanks for calling in.
I'm good. I'm glad I finally got through. Last week, I don't know what happened. I tried to call, but it just didn't work out.
Well, welcome now, dude.
We're glad you're able to call in.
Yeah, so I'm not going to talk about turkey hunting, unfortunately. I'm a fisherman by heart, by nature. So.
Oh, we're open to that as
Yeah,
well.
I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, we're not mad about that.
But no, I spoke to you guys. I got to spoke to Vanessa the other day out on the water when I was out there with the pink fishing rig, bass fishing. So.
How'd you do?
I call in. I've been catching up on you guys, watch what you guys do, and I'm a big supporter of it, and I'm a fan of what you guys got going on.
Thank you. Oh, you're the professional angler that had the pink boat for, I guess you're sponsored by Cancer or something like that?
Yeah, I would use professional very lightly.
Everybody says
Okay,
that.
I'm sorry. She said you were a pro angler, so I'm sorry. Okay, how about pro-am angler? There we go. Understood. Yeah, I think she said you had some difficulties with your boat or your outboards or something, so you weren't able to go out. Is that what took place? Okay.
We had actually gone out. We got to our first spot, and my bill just kicked on, which is never a good sign, especially in the flood zone. So we had to come back. I had recently mounted a new Lowrance pump to the bottom of my boat, and we hit something on the water that jarred the screws loose that caused water to leak in.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not good.
So we fixed it, and when I met you guys, that's what we were doing. We were waiting for the epoxy to set up, so we had about a 45-minute wait before we could get it back in the water.
So you did go back out after I saw you?
We did. We went back out, and we had about 2.5 hours to fish. Mainly, I'm the tournament director, so I'm the last one out and the first one in, so I can weigh everybody in. But we got back out. We had about 2.5 to 3 hours of fishing. We were able to catch 3 fish. That put us in a good place. Had we been able to stay, I am certain beyond reasonable doubt we would have had to win the bag. We had about a 3-pound average with our fish.
Okay, I was, yeah.
11 won it, and if you figure 5 fish tying 3 pounds at 15 pounds.
And that was bass fish, Ryan? Bass?
Sorry? Yeah,
Was
it's
that
right about that. Yeah. When we fish the Potomac, that's the guys that fish and the team that fish with me are allowed to weigh in smallmouth or largemouth. We don't have spotted bass here in the state, so they're allowed to go as far as they can on the Potomac, up north and south, and if they want to weigh in smallmouth bass, it's fine. But it's smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass.
Is this just one tournament that you have? Did you say you're the director?
No, I actually am the tournament director for Angler Choice. We run 7 events on the Potomac River. That was our first one. Technically, it was our second, but we had to cancel our first one because of weather in March.
Please.
It was actually our first event.
Please make sure Lanessa gets your information because we would love to come and attend. I know I would love to come and attend that and take a look and see what's involved. And
I'd like to actually ride on the boat.
I hope. See, she wants.
The boat is always available. It's a matter of getting up with me and we can go out. That's not a problem.
I'm there.
I run those 7 events, and then I fish a bunch of other events here and there. I'm from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, so it's not too far of a drive.
No, not at all.
No.
So how many participants did you have in the tournament that day?
That day we had 10 teams, so it was 20 anglers. We usually average about 14 teams, which gives us 28 anglers. But we had multiple other events going on that day. That kind of when we're trying to get in and out of small little permitting to the state of Maryland, it's hard to not double up on other tournaments. So we had the PA Federation going out of there, the Potomac American Bass Anglers, which is the ABA weekend series, but not the actual weekend series, but the draw series. And we had 2 other club events. So it kind of jammed us up, but scheduling is hard to do. I try to schedule around everybody when I set my schedule, but there's so many tournaments nowadays, it's hard to do.
And how do you keep up with, if I was interested in entering a tournament, how would I find out about it?
With our events, you can go to anglerstoys.com, and it'll come up to the national page, and then you just click on the divisions page, and it'll come up Maryland. And we have 2 trails in Maryland. We have one on the Potomac and one on the Upper Bay. I used to run them both, but I just recently gave up the Upper Bay. Mike Ward runs that one now, and they have 7 events that one have Anchor Marine. And the limit with the Upper Bay is anything north of the Bay Bridge. You launch out of Anchor, which is in northeast, and you can take every tributary from the Bay Bridge north.
What do you need to get started, Ryan? In this? What do you need to get started in this sport?
When did I get started?
What do you need to get started?
Our season, technically our season started in March.
No, he's asking like if someone like one of us who loves fishing, what would we need to do in order to get starting in this type of tournament?
Yeah. If you want to come and join, it's a team event, so all you need is somebody with a bass boat that meets our requirements. We don't have a horsepower requirement, but we do have that real requirement. So you got to have 2 functional live wells. You got to have insurance up to $100,000 liability, which most tournament anglers have. Once you guys come, all it takes is you guys pay your membership, your yearly membership to Angler's Choice, and then your entry fee, and you're good to go.
And how much are the entry fees typically? What's the
entry
range?
fee is $150 per team. But we have, and then the Potomac has 2. We have 3 option pots. We have a longer pot, which is the big bass. We have a Calcutta, which is a tournament within a tournament. Only those that actually pay the $20 in the Calcutta compete against other anglers. So if the first place team doesn't get into that, but the second group can't do, then those guys are competing for that cash pot. The second group can. And then we just started this year an optional $10 snakehead pot.
Oh,
So anybody who has the largest snakehead during the tournament can bring it in, we'll weigh it in, and then that pot is fully paid. Our payouts are 1 place for 6 boats. We take 70% back. So if we have 6 boats, anywhere between 1 and 12 boats, we pay out 1 spot, minus the option pot. The option pot is 100% payback. If you have 12 boats, then it's 2 spots, 18 boats, 3 spots, and so on and so forth.
very interesting.
Definitely.
I've had snakehead before. I loved it. I've tasted snakehead fish before. So it's nice that you got. I've tasted the snakehead fish. It's really good.
I started that this year just for fun. We always hear the stories of the guys that come in and I have a huge snakehead on them. So I figured, hey, we're all catching them. You have to kill them, bring them into the scales, we'll weigh them in. For those people that know, snakehead is a very good fish.
Very good.
It's a delicacy. It's a white fish that has no fish taste. You can actually overseason the fish. So if people don't want them, they bring them in. I think we take them home and land up and cook them.
He says a free delicacy for you. Huh?
That's how I look at it. A lot of people don't want to spend the time because they are a little hard to fillet. But they're a white fish and they have no fish taste whatsoever.
Okay, so not like a catfish where you got to almost use you got to peel it back the skin, use some pliers or something like that. So this you can fillet.
Yeah, once you get through their initial skin, and that's the hardest part, because it's legitimately like a snake. They're very scaly, but once you get through that, and you get you get them flayed out, you cook them up with a little bit of butter, a little bit of Old Bay on the grill, they are fantastic.
I actually had it fried. When I tasted it, it was fried.
You like them fried?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll work too. You know, batter them up, dip them in some good grease. You got supposed to say nuggets.
That's exactly what I had.
Trust me, I being on the Eastern Shore, man, we've done. You name it, we've done it. And I've actually turned a lot of my friends on that are waiting and in anticipation for me to bring these things home to cook them up. And unfortunately, last year we didn't. As soon as I set up bring it home, we didn't get done.
That's how it goes.
Something to bring in, at least like, hey, I'll take it.
Gotcha. What county are you in over the Eastern Shore?
I live in Queen Anne.
Okay.
So it's just on the other side of the Bay Bridge. I live in the center part of the county. I'm about 2 hours away from the Potomac. But I've been fishing the Potomac since I was 16 years old. So.
All
All right.
Cool.
But thank you.
Yeah, no, if you guys have any questions about pink fishing and the boat, I'm always available to talk. I will next time call on the landline because I can barely hear you. I'm sure you guys can hear me, but it's very hard for me to hear you. And going back through the shows I've read where you guys say call on the landline, I don't get one.
All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan, we really appreciate you calling in and giving us that information.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be in touch, Ryan.
No problem. You guys have a good one.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
Wow.
Well, that's a great way to almost wrap up the show. Have him call in unexpected. That would have been great if he could have called in last week. We
Yeah, he
definitely would have
tried.
talked about that.
Yeah, we had that one caller.
Yeah,
and that was him.
Okay,
That was trying to come through.
with the pink boat, you definitely can't miss that boat.
Nope,
So.
not at all. And of course, I assumed it was a female boat. And he corrected me. He said, "No, I'm the captain of this one."
Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Made me think of my snakehead Snooky. Snooky died. Snooky jumped out of his aquarium and fell behind the thing and dried up. But that was a long story.
I was going to say, you had a snakehead as a pet?
Yeah, I used to work in an aquarium shop, my first job.
We gonna hold on that till the next show.
But thank you so much for listening to Blanchard Outdoors. We're having so much fun. We could almost go over, but and we will soon. The show's going to get longer and longer, and then because television shows are going to be ridiculous. And I'm so glad that you are here with us. Check out the site blanchardoutdoors.com. Find us on Facebook, Blanchard Outdoors. And Vanessa and Dee, thank you so much for being who you are. And remember that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. This is Ken Blanchard, and thank you and God bless.